Struggling to get enough plant-based protein into your meals, or maybe you're just tired of the same options that leave you feeling hungry? Let me introduce you to your new go-to, this chickpea flour omelet. It's packed with protein, fiber, and veggies, and plus it's super easy to make. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the ultimate chickpea flour omelet. It's packed with protein, it's packed with veggies, and it's perfect for either breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Whether you're vegan or gluten-free, or maybe you're just looking for some ways to bump up your plant-based protein, this chickpea flour omelet is going to change the way that you think about omelets. I hear it all the time. Finding plant-based meals that are both high in protein and satisfying are tough. You also don't want to sacrifice flavor or spend hours in the kitchen. This chickpea flour omelet is the perfect solution. It's quick, it's tasty, and it checks all of the boxes for a satisfying plant-based meal. Here's what you'll need. Some chickpea flour, that's going to give us our plant-based protein, some spices like onion powder, garlic powder, and a few others, some salt and pepper, nutritional yeast, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, some black sea salt. Again, I'm going to talk about this ingredient later because this is a key ingredient that I highly recommend that you add. Some apple cider vinegar, some plant-based milk, so some dairy-free milk of your choice, and of course, some vegetables. So we got some red bell peppers, some spinach, mushrooms, tomato, and some green onions. Now let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to add is that chickpea flour. This is going to give us our plant-based protein. It's also a great source of fiber as well. Many people are deficient in fiber, so chickpea flour is also a great way to bump up your fiber intake. Next, we're going to add a selection of spices here. So we have a whole bunch of spices in here actually. There's some turmeric, there's some onion powder, there's some garlic powder in here, and we're just going to pop that in the bowl. Then we also have some baking powder, which I'll toss in next. And then we have some nutritional yeast. Now I love nutritional yeast. I wasn't always a fan, but when I decided to eat more plant-based foods, the two of the things I had the hardest time with were cutting back sweets and cheese, right? Like how on earth could I give up my ooey gooey cheese? Well, nutritional yeast is the answer to that. Nutritional yeast is an inactive yeast and it's made from sugar cane and beet molasses. It's then heated and dried and it's combined into flakes or sometimes even powder. So the great thing about it is that it's a really great source of vitamin B12 and also helps in the normal functioning of the immune system. It also helps to maintain a healthy metabolism as well as helping your body to metabolize nutrients. Now next I'm going to add in some black sea salt. And I love this ingredient. This is the secret ingredient for making things taste eggy. This is the brand that I use right here. You can use whatever brand that you like, but Himalayan black sea salt is also known as Kala Namak. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but it's an Indian volcanic rock salt that contains traces of elements like sulfates, sulfides, iron, and magnesium. And it also gives you that nice eggy flavor as well. So again, it's not a necessary ingredient because the chickpea flour, once it is cooked, will give you kind of that eggy flavor, but if you want to bump it up a bit, I would definitely add in the black sea salt. All right, so now that we have everything in the bowl, we just want to whisk everything together. Now, another option you have is you could also make this dry mix ahead of time. So you can make it ahead of time, put it in a jar and put it in your pantry, and that way it kind of speeds up your omelet preparation if you just wanted to whip this up really quickly. All right, so the next thing I'm going to add is some plant-based milk. So I have some almond milk that I'm adding in here, and then I'm also going to add in some apple cider vinegar. So this is going to kind of give you a kind of like a buttermilk feel, but in a vegan way. So the apple cider vinegar is going to help to activate the almond milk, and that's going to give it a nice fluffy texture. As I'm mixing this right now, I can actually kind of smell like an eggy flavor. So that's also the thing about black salt. So be aware of that. It doesn't smell the most pleasant, but I promise you, it's going to give you that eggy flavor that you are looking for. So once this is all mixed up, the next thing we want to do is just let this sit for about 10 minutes to thicken up. I love bell peppers because they're such a great source of vitamin C. Did you know that red bell peppers actually have more vitamin C than an orange? Hate chopping garlic? Here's a tip. Just put it on your cutting board, take the base of your knife, and just go like this. Then the paper part of the garlic comes off so much more easier and you can proceed with chopping. All right, so after adding a little bit of olive oil to the pan, we want to make sure that it's nice and hot, and then we want to add in our mushrooms as well as our garlic. We just want to saute this for a minute or two until our mushrooms get nice and soft, as well as the garlic. If your pan's a little bit dry, like I feel like mine is right now, what you can do is just add a little bit more water to the pan. Water or oil, totally up to you, but I'm just gonna add some water. Totally up to you, but I also like to add a little bit of salt and pepper to my veggies just for flavor, but also the salt will help them to cook down a little bit more quickly. Lastly, I'm just gonna add the spinach at the end for a nice dose of iron. But we don't wanna leave these in too long. I would just kind of stir it around until the spinach gets slightly wilted and then just remove everything from the heat. Now, iron is a nutrient that a lot of people are deficient in, especially women. And iron is also a nutrient that gets depleted in your body during times of high stress. So it's really important to add sources of iron like spinach to your diet as much as you possibly can. All right, so that looks good. So I'm just gonna take everything off the heat and put it aside. And then next, we'll add in that chickpea batter. So I like to wipe out the pan just to kind of reset the pan. And then I'll just pop in just a little bit more olive oil, just so that the batter doesn't stick. We just want to wait until the pan gets nice and hot again. All right, so now it's time to add in that chickpea batter. So with the batter, the consistency that you're looking for here is kind of like a pancake batter. So I'm just gonna pour it in the middle, and we just want to spread it out in the pan, kind of like you would with a pancake. So you just want to cook this for about 5 minutes until the edges are set and until the middle is no longer soft. This should take about 5 minutes. Okay, so I can see now that the edges are looking nice and firm. The top is still a little bit wet, but we're gonna flip it, which will make the other side cook. So let's just be careful while we do this. This is always the tricky part. So what I did was I loosened all of the edges first before I flipped it, just to kind of help to get it loosened from the pan. And so now we're gonna cross our fingers and flip. Not too bad. Now this side is a little bit more well done than I would like. So just make sure to keep an eye on it as you're cooking. Again, you really want the edges to be firm. And then once the edges are firm, even if the middle on the other side is still a little bit wet, you should be okay to flip since you're gonna be cooking it on the other side. So now that we flipped it, we wanna just cook this for another 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, so I think this is about cooked now. It's been about 3 to 4 minutes. So let's just see on the other side. It's looking cooked to me. I feel like the middle is firm and no longer soft. So the next thing you wanna do is you just want to add all of those cooked veggies right into the top of the omelet. All right, so we'll add that to the top of the omelet like so, and then we just want to fold it in the middle. Just take your omelet and then as much as you possibly can, I just kind of like to maneuver it like that, and then we want to fold it in the middle. And just keep maneuvering it with the back of your spatula like so, and boom. And there you have it, a crispy and delicious protein-packed chickpea flour omelet. You're also going to get some fiber in here as well. I cannot wait to sink my teeth into this one.